This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. I'm Alex Brown. Jasper-based commercial furnishings company Kimball International is set to be acquired by HNI, a manufacturer of workplace furnishings and residential building products headquartered in Iowa. The cash and stock deal is valued at $485 million. HNI CEO Jeff Loringer said the deal felt like a natural fit.
These deals are won a lot on culture and fit. And, that's a key for this value creation proposition. And we really line up well there. They do business the way we do business. And you combine that with the product and the post-pandemic market trends. It just made a lot of sense for us and for them.
The acquisition is expected to close in mid-2023. Indiana Secretary of Commerce Brad Chambers will lead a delegation next week on an economic development trip to Asia, where he will promote Indiana's growing battery, electric vehicle, and semiconductor industries. During the trip, Chambers will meet with government officials and business leaders in Japan and take part in a battery industry conference in South Korea. Frankfurt-based Caspar Media on Tuesday announced plans to sell its Shine 99 radio station to Olivet Nazarene University in Illinois. Pending approval from the Federal Communications Commission, the deal is valued at nearly $1.5 million. Olivet owns and operates 7 radio stations in Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan, including Shine FM stations in the Chicago area and Indianapolis. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Get ready, Southwest Indiana. We're headed your way. IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Economic Development Corporation invite you to the second annual Engage Southwest Indiana event presented by Indiana University and Old National Bank, Tuesday, April 11th at the Old National Events Plaza in Evansville. We'll be diving into regional and statewide initiatives with a focus on talent, education, and issues shaping our economy. It's all about advancing the future of Indiana. More at ibj.com/engage.
In a play to spotlight and advance its efforts with hydrogen fuel cells, battery power, and other green technologies, Columbus-based Cummins has rebranded that part of its business as Accelera by Cummins. The rebranding is an attempt to differentiate what until now has been known as Cummins' New Power business unit, giving it a separate identity from the rest of the 104-year-old company, which has traditionally been known for its diesel engines. CEO Jennifer Rumsey.
By launching this new brand, we are asserting a bold position to continue to lead in our industry in zero emissions technologies. And this provides a tremendous opportunity as well for us to bring together the 2,000 employees that we have and growing in our New Power business, some of whom have come from Cummins, many of whom have come from the multiple acquisitions we've done in recent years as we've built the capability in this business, and some that hired into this business, and unite them around this purpose of reaching zero emissions solutions in our markets.
Cummins said there would be no organizational changes accompanying the rebranding, which comes as the company is pushing toward what it calls Destination Zero, a goal of reaching net zero emissions by 2050. New Vera Bradley CEO Jackie Ardrey says the company has some heavy lifting to do in fiscal 2024 as it reports fiscal full year and fourth quarter losses. The Fort Wayne-based luggage, handbag, and fashion accessory designer announced a full year net loss of $59.7 million compared to net income of $17.8 million during the previous year. Ardrey said the next fiscal year will be a rebuilding year for Vera Bradley, and the company will work to stabilize the business in the first quarter in order to hopefully build momentum as the year progresses. The company did not provide detailed guidance for the first fiscal quarter, but expects revenues to be approximately in line with the prior year. A medical technology entrepreneur who is working with the University of Notre Dame is preparing for the commercial launch of a pillow that can improve oxygen flow for patients who struggle with emphysema and COPD. The Oxillo system is intended to help people who require supplemental oxygen when they sleep but struggle with wearing a nasal cannula, a medical device that consists of tubing and 2 prongs placed in the nostrils. Sleep Easy Technologies CEO Anthony Esplin.
Our product just creates that oxygen-rich environment. So as you lay your head on your pillow, it's blowing the oxygen to your face. And so it creates and maintains oxygen levels for someone that would use a nasal cannula.
Esplin says the startup has received some seed funding and has also secured manufacturers to produce some of the parts of the system, including one in Elkhart. A Chicago-based startup co-founded by an Indiana native is getting a big boost in exposure. Pluie announced Wednesday its self-sanitizing diaper changing tables are being installed in more than 3 dozen locations throughout Indianapolis International Airport. Pluie uses a patented UVC light system that the company says kills 99.9% of germs and is activated when the table is closed after each use. In a February 2022 interview on Inside Indiana Business Television, co-founder Brittany Heiser said the design of the table was meant to solve every pain point of current changing tables.
We first took the approach of giving the traditional diaper changing table a facelift by introducing a really nice modern design aesthetic. And then we introduced first to market features such as the plush foam cushion. So instead of placing your baby on a hard plastic surface, you change your child on a nice foam cushion that's leak proof. We also have a retractable security strap. So you often see those straps, they're damaged, they're sometimes missing. So we designed it to be retractable, very similar to a seatbelt. And then our handles that you use to open and close the table, we made those multi-purpose. So you can place your purse, your diaper bag on the handles versus, placing your bag on what can be a very dirty bathroom floor.
Heiser and her co-founder and CEO Addie Gundry will showcase their product on an episode of Shark Tank, which is set to air Friday. Heiser will also appear on this weekend's edition of IIB TV to talk more about the deal with the airport. White River State Park Executive Director Jake Oakman is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.